Hello, it is Lemurian Donna Carol, and I am here tonight with a special treat for you, a special surprise. And basically, I am going to be bringing in a client. Her name is Andrea Wylan, and she is also going to be a student because she is taking my channeling class this June. But I am bringing on Andrea tonight so that you can see what it is like to have me channel someone who has passed over to the other side. So tonight I will be channeling her dad, who passed away in September 2019. And Andrea has a few questions for him. And I've channeled him before, so I'm familiar with his energy, but he will be coming in and he will be answering questions for Andrea. And this demonstration is to show you what you can do. Everybody has the inherent ability to channel, that if you decide to learn how to channel, you'll be able to bring in your loved ones from the other side, as well as light beings. So this is just a demo. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to my client and friend, Andrea Wylan. So come on board.
Hi.
Hi, you look great. You look good. How are you tonight?
I'm good. A little sleepy. I'm on the East Coast, but I'm excited to do this and excited to talk to Dad. And I have an extra question that you don't know about from someone that knows Dad that called me today too. So that will be perfect.
Okay.
We'll ask about him.
Okay, that sounds good. So can you tell me a little bit about your dad and about your relationship with your dad before we start?
He was 87. He died of cancer in his spine, and he was living in Sedona for the last 30 years or so. We had an up and down relationship. I spent a lot of time with him near the end in Sedona. And since he's passed, you've channeled him a few times. He's come in other ways as well. So it's a really cool experience to be able to talk to, one of your parents after they're gone, and especially because then they have a different perspective on things. It's like they're still there, but they can see things clearly. So some of the problems, they become aware of the things that they did in this life that they could have done differently, which is really exciting.
Mm-hmm. And so would you say listening or talking to your dad on the other side is comforting or informative?
Yeah, it's comforting. It's informative. I love it.
Oh, good. So are you looking forward to learning how to channel?
Yes, I'm hoping it's easy, and yeah, I'm looking forward to taking the class.
Good.
I mean, you're awesome. So, I haven't had like you said, I haven't had a class from you. I've just had the channeling, but I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and it just takes practice like anything else, but everybody can channel, so it's an inherent human ability. So without further ado, we're going to get started. I'm going to call in my guides. I always call in all of my guides. I call them protection. You have to do that when you're channeling. You have to keep yourself safe. And then I'm going to call in Paul Wylan, Dr. Paul Wylan, and he is going to answer some questions for Andrea. So here we go. At this time, I call in my highest and best healing and channeling guides. I also call in Andrea's highest and best healing and channeling guides. I'd like to call in Dr. Paul Wylan. Please come in. I'd like to call in the archangels, Raphael, Ariel, Michael, and there's some feedback, Andrea. Is there some feedback on your side?
No.
Okay.
I'll move my cell phone. I don't know what else.
Yeah, I think.
Wait, am I on mute?
No.
Let me mute myself. Sorry. At least for now.
Well, you're going to have to ask questions.
Okay, then I'll unmute myself.
So I'm asking for, there's some feedback. I don't know where it's coming from. I call in the archangels, Ariel, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel. I call in 10,000 warrior protection angels all around us, Andrea, myself, and Paul Wylan. Please block all negative entities, energies, and thought forms from entering this space. Lastly, I ask Yeshua to oversee this session, make my words clear, accurate, loving, and truthful. Okay, the noise is gone. Now, I would like to call in Dr. Paul Wylan. I ask him to utilize my voice and answer any and all of Andrea's questions. So whenever you're ready.
Okay, let's just start with hi, Dad, and how are you doing? What's going on the other side?
I'm fine. I'm doing very well. It's good to see you again. Seems like we just spoke. Anyhow, I'm doing well, Andrea. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yes, we did just speak. It's good to speak again.
I agree. Did you have anything you wanted to ask me? It can really be about anything.
Yeah. Okay, let me just start with do you have any messages for Dr. Milgram? That was his chiropractor.
Okay, so I asked Paul to come in, take over my voice. I do have a message for him. I want him to know that he is missed. I appreciate everything that he did for me, and he is missed. And I'm asking, well, who misses him? Do you miss him or someone else? I miss him, but I think he is missed in his practice. There's some people that were going to him that no longer go to him, that miss his services. That's what I'm trying to say, that he is missed professionally because he was very talented at what he did. And anything else you want to add about that, Dr. Milgram? I feel like he did a good job on my back and on my shoulder, and I appreciate the work that he did for me. Of course, I don't need it here on the other side, but the main thing I want him to know is that he is missed. He feels like maybe underappreciated, or that maybe he's not working as much, or maybe he's retired or semi-retired, but that he meant a lot to a lot of people, and that people do remember him and miss his work. And that's what I want to say.
Okay. He's taken a couple months off because of the virus, so he hasn't really been working. But he's just starting to work again.
Good.
So that might be that. So the other thing that Dr. Milgram said when I was talking to him is he said he keeps seeing me in Sedona. He said, I keep getting Sedona for you. So I thought I would run that by Dad again, like, and to people that are listening, I've been trying to figure out where I want to live. I've been in Massachusetts for 3 years, and this isn't it for me. So Sedona was one of the options. So anything else that Dad wants to say about me and Sedona at this point?
I know you have regret about not living in Sedona after I passed. You could have lived there in my house, and I know that you regret that. And yes, I wanted you to do that at the time. I was trying to set it up for you. But now that you have decided not to be there, I'm confused as to why you would want to go back. You're more of a city girl. You like to have stores and options available to you. And frankly, you would probably get pretty bored in Sedona after a season. It's more or less a rustic place. I loved it, but I'm not sure it would be to your liking. You're more a water person. You like being on the beach. I think, do I see you there? I can see you visiting there, or even staying there, or visiting your friends there, but living there, I think that opportunity has come and gone.
In his house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is he, so sometimes when we check in, he tells me what he's working on and how he's doing, who he's with. So just kind of checking, he was a twin. Does he ever see his brother? It still kind of amazes me that they have a life on the other side. So just kind of wondering what he's up to.
Okay, sure. So this is Donna Carol. Put your attention on your heart chakra as you're asking these questions, because you'll get a better reading. Okay, so I'm going to call in Paul Wylan. Yes, I see him all the time. In fact, he's here with me now if you want to talk to him. He just popped in.
Hi, Dad. So what are you up to? What are you spending your time, if there is time, doing?
I'm spending my time reading. I'm reading a lot of texts, and I'm reading spiritual texts, and I'm trying to study spirituality, but from information that is from a higher level, a higher perspective. So, excuse me, on earth, people would read the Bible, they'd read, the sacred texts, the Torah, they'd read the Bible, they'd read the Vedic scriptures. But here we get different types of texts. They're star texts. In other words, they're holograms. They're not written in a earth language. They're written in like holograms. They're like pictograms. It's a star language. Don't ask me to explain it because I don't quite know how the star language is formed. But we can go to a library in the ethers. They have a big library, and they have several libraries that you can go to. But this one is for scriptures and spiritual texts. And so I wanted to find out more about the origin of the earth, about the Messiah and certain avatars that have come down to earth. I wanted to get like a history about where I had been spending several of my last incarnations. So I got this book. It's not really a book. It's like it looks kind of like a book, but what you do is you place your middle finger, your middle finger, yes, and you look in the book, and they have sections. And so I'm studying the history of the earth, and so I go in there and I just put my middle finger on what I want to study, and then poof, the information releases, and I see it as a visual, as a movie. I don't have to read it. It's presented to me, and that's what I'm doing.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of people from the other side that go here and learn. And it's like the great library of Alexandria, only much, much more powerful. So, or more, it's just, and so they have certain sections in the library. This one is about spirituality and history, theology, philosophy, that type of thing. And that's what I've been reading. It's kind of interesting and fun. I do that sometimes.
That makes sense. That's kind of how he was. What about my Uncle Peter. Does he see him?
Yes, I see your Uncle Peter, because when I first came to the other side, I met my mother and your uncle showed me his place. He designed a house here on the other side where we're living, you could say, because everybody kind of sets up shop or sets up residence. And so he's got a house. It's on a stream or a small river. And do you have your phone on?
No.
Okay. It's on a stream or a small river, and there's a water wheel. And so it's kind of old fashioned. He's got a water wheel that creates power from the stream. And it's an old fashioned type of house. It's 2-story. It looks like kind of like a Tudor or a rustic kind of house. And it's on the land, and there's meadows and fields. It's really quite beautiful, but there's a town. So he lives on one side of the river, and then a lot of other people live in town. So he's part of this community. Now, where do I live? Well, that's a good question. I had stayed with my brother, your uncle, for a while, and now I am going to, well, I have been thinking about setting up residence in this area as well. I kind of have my own little space, like you could say it's a little cabin or a shelter or a hut or something like that that I hang out in. I created just to hang out, but I haven't like created a house or a place to call my residence yet, because I'm thinking about what I want. A lot of people just recreate what they had on Earth, but I don't want to do that. I want to do something, he's saying, spectacular. So I'm going to put some thought into it and into the design. So that next.
I'm just wondering, like, what happens on the other side. Does he stay there until he reincarnates again, or does he do something else?
I'll be staying here till I reincarnate again. This isn't true for everybody. You know, some people that have intensive work to do, they pretty much stay in a hospice or a rest center or a healing center until they're well enough to set up their own place and live in a community. I was well enough so that when I came over after I did some cleansing, convalescing, I feel pretty good, even though I had some sickness here on the other side, you know, cancer, but still I don't need like years and years of recuperation. I'm actually up and about here doing stuff. And I will stay here until I reincarnate.
Okay.
So I have options, but of course, the higher your vibration, the more options you have on where to go and what you can do and all that type of thing. And plus, you know, it's not like I'm stuck here. There's trips to other places. It's just like Earth in some ways. You can go to other places. There's organized events, organized trips, that type of thing. And you connect with, I think I mentioned to you, I connected with some of my old professors. And so we might be going on some trips and studying some things together because they're still here on the other side.
So weird. Okay. Let's see. What else do I want to, what about my grandmother and his parents? Does he see them?
Yes, I see them. And they don't look like you remember them. They choose to look a little bit younger. So, you know, to me, they look like they're in their 30s, maybe early 40s. And they are staying together, living together. And they are So I ask, what are your parents doing? Do you stay with them? I see them on occasion, but I don't live with them or stay with them. They're kind of wrapped up in their own storyline or own version of things, and they are interested in going back to Earth and incarnating again. It is time for them to think about taking on their next life.
I have a general question. They weren't happy together on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So is that typical that people would still be together on the other side, even if they weren't happy together in this life?
Sometimes it depends on the people. They're staying together because they were used to each other, I guess, and they just feel more comfortable around each other. So I asked him, do they spend all their time together? They spend a lot of time together. They get along better here than they did over there because there's less pressure, less stress, more freedom, less constraints. It's easier here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I just had this thought, like, does Dad have a perspective on the coronavirus? And like, I'm having a lot of stress going through this and fears about what's going to happen. Does he have anything to say to me, like, that's comforting from his perspective? Dad?
I think the coronavirus, I think that it's not going to last forever. Just, ride out the mayhem and the craziness and everything that's going on, but it will fade in time just like everything else. Don't put so much attention on it. Focus on other things that bring you happiness and joy, and try to not let it color your whole world. It's going to fade in time. It's just another thing that comes up on Earth. Before the virus, it was the fires, Before the fires, it was something else, the politics. That's the nature of Earth. There's always something to get you down, something. I mean, this is very telling because it has, got the whole world up in arms or the whole world's attention, but it's not the end all and be all. It will pass.
Okay. And I'll check in on my soulmate again. Dad said I was going to meet my soulmate this year.
So I asked.
Still? Am I still? Does he still see that?
I still see that, and I'm working on that. I told you I was working on that. I'm still working on that. And remember, every time you see something blue, a blue bird, something all in blue, that's my message to you. That's when I'm in your reality. I'm going to paint something blue. But yeah, you're going to meet your soulmate. Just try and release doubt, fear, anxiety, and try and be in the moment and let the blessings come into your field, into your life.
Okay. Anything else he wants to say in general?
I just want to say I love you and I appreciate you and I'm looking after you and your brother. Know that.
All right. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks. Okay. Well, thank you, Andrea. I appreciate your time and your energy and I hope you have a great night.
Okay. Thank you, Donna. I'm going to sign off if I can.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So I just wanted to thank you for listening tonight and wanted to let you know that you can learn to channel as well. And when you learn how to channel, you'll be able to bring over light beings, possibly ETs, angels, and those who have passed on the other side. And they will come through your body, through your voice, and through your filter. And you will raise your vibration, raise your frequency, and bring in expanded states of consciousness. So when you bring in your own personal spirit guides, they'll bring in information, healing, and high vibrations. Everyone can learn how to channel, and I am teaching a class. The class starts June 3rd. It's called Learn to Channel the Lemurian Way. I have 2 spots left, so if you're interested in learning how to talk with those who have gone on to the other side or bring them through your own body, go ahead and Facebook message me. And I just want to say that anyone can channel, and it will really add a lot to your life, whether you're a healer, a musician, whether you're a coach, an artist, a singer, anyone that does any type of creative or healing work. If they learn how to channel, they'll bring in much higher levels of energy for their clients, their family members, and their friends. So I just want to say thanks for listening and have a great night, and we appreciate you. Namaste.